Hi, I'm Jason Ball, President and CEO of the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. Today is Monday, April 7th at just about 4:46. And so I am sure by the time you see this message, things will have changed that I'll be talking about today. But we are updating our information as frequently and as often as we can. And so please continue to check our website at LCOC for more information or the U.S. Chamber website. But today I wanted to talk about what we've seen over the past 5 or 6 days related to tariff policy. And so, as I'm sure everyone knows right now, last week on Wednesday, April 2nd, President Trump announced a regime of tariffs that impacted exports or imports into the U.S. from about 185 countries. And the markets over the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday, reacted very swiftly. Collectively, the market lost about 10% of value when you look at the major indexes of the Dow, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. And so it's created a moment of great uncertainty for our economy nationally and here in Lincoln. Now, there could be good and bad outcomes from all of this dialogue that we're having globally right now. We hope that there will be positive negotiations, and we've seen a little bit of that already. The European Union, Vietnam, Israel, all are nations and countries and groups that are looking at maybe doing a 0% for 0% arrangement with the U.S. somehow. And that would potentially have the impact of opening up new markets to export for American goods to ship overseas. That would be good progress. There are also countries that have enacted retaliatory tariffs to this last week's announcements. The most prominent example being China, which enacted some additional tariffs on U.S. imports into China, to which earlier today, the president announced an additional 50% tariff on Chinese goods entering the U.S., making Chinese goods now tariffed at over 100% of their original value. And that's an escalation in a trade disagreement. Some would call it a trade war with at least one nation out there, and there will be others. So why comment on this locally from the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce? Well, it's because right now it's having a big impact on the people and businesses in Lincoln, most notably in manufacturing. We also have exposure in the agriculture market. And so make no mistake, if you're a manufacturer in Lincoln, if you're a manufacturer anywhere in the state of Nebraska, these companies are experiencing negative outcomes in the increased cost of their raw materials, for example, or heaven forbid, they may have lost access to markets in which they sell. And in a few cases, they're actually getting different competition from different companies and different competitors right here in the United States, all of which don't serve to keep Lincoln competitive, and it may end up impacting what our employment picture looks like here in Lincoln. Now, I don't share this to raise the temperature or cause panic or concern, but we felt like the activities and things that have evolved over the past 5 days have progressed to the point where we needed to share some information with our community. It's important to note we have commonly held goals with the administration. I don't think any American, including the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, wants to see drugs coming in from overseas. We all want to see that activity go down. All of us have a vested interest in safe and controlled borders so people aren't crossing into the country without appropriate checks. Those are reasonable things to want. And of course, this chamber has long held that open access, fair access to markets, both for our overseas goods, but things that we want to import into America to help business, is a great goal to have. And I understand that these are also goals that this administration has. But we also feel that tariffs are not the way to achieve these goals. Rather, we would like to see a new approach that's a business supportive approach. And we know what this looks like. It's attempts to reduce regulation, for example, or incentivize investment in the U.S. It's to allow people access to the prosperity that they've earned through the hard work that they have. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has been a leader in this conversation. There's a few things that they've posted on their website that they want businesses to know and be aware of. A tariff is a tax on imported goods paid by the U.S. or the business or individual that's receiving those goods in the U.S. Broad-based tariffs can hurt U.S. manufacturers, sometimes more than they can help, and they can often bring painful retaliation against American exports and other markets. And so the U.S. Chamber has encouraged the administration and Congress to prioritize a goal of achieving at least 3% economic growth annually and cementing in place the type of policies that will allow our business community to grow. They further urge policymakers to instead focus efforts on accelerating a pro-growth agenda of extending our current tax policy, the Trump-era tax cuts that will renew based on legislative action that we are supporting, rebalancing regulations, and unleashing the full potential of American energy, all policies that will grow the economy and create more opportunity for Americans. Now, this isn't just a pie-in-the-sky goal of 3% growth. In 2024, we averaged 2.8% growth across the whole year. And in the third quarter of 2024, we achieved 3.1% growth. Now is the time for a pro-growth agenda. So you may be wondering, what can I do? Well, one, I encourage everybody to go to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce website. They have very timely information, much more in-depth analysis than I can get into here. It is a great resource for information about what's going on. I also encourage you to contact our team. You can find all of our contact information at lcoc.com at our Who We Are page on our website. And please tell us, how has this impacted your business, for good or for ill? If you're having challenges that you didn't expect in this year and your business is having to react, we would like to know that, even on a confidential basis. Or if what's been going on in the past few days has created a situation where you have additional access, new access to a growth opportunity in your business, let us know that too. That's going to be important for us to know. Please join us in supporting a pro-growth agenda. This country has so much potential, and we are so excited to work with elected leaders to achieve that. Thank you.